Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be solving two-step equations. This is just part one. It's kind of an introduction to kind of get your mind thinking about what's happening when we have more than one operation being attached to the variable, I guess is one way to put it. And so, in order to do that, I want to just show a few things, and then in the next video, we'll actually show how to solve some. And let's say I wanted to, let's start with the solution and work backward and create a problem. Then you can see how the steps go in reverse. So I'm going to start out with what I'm already going to say is the solution. I'm going to start with x equals 3. Okay, so as we know, the green rectangle represents our variable, okay, and the yellow represents positive singles. So x equals 3, and then now whatever I do, we know that in balancing equations, whatever I do to the left side, I have to do to the right side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. If I double this side and I double this side, then, if you look at the balance, this should still stay as a balanced equation. So instead of 1x, I have now 2 x's, and instead of instead of 3, when I double that, I get 6. So now I'm saying that when I multiply both sides by 2, 2x now equals 6. Now let's just, for the sake of making it a little bit more, one more step. Let's say now that I add, let's say I add 4 to each side. So I had x equals 3, then I multiplied by 2. Multiply by 2. Now I have 2x equals 6. Now I'm going to add, what did I say? Let's add 4. Okay? So I still have my 2x. And I still have my 6. And now to both sides of the equation, I'm going to add 4 more. One, 2, 3, 4. If I do it to the left side, I need to do it to the right side. I think I'm one tile short. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, the one short I'm going to borrow. I can pretend there's a little. Sorry. Okay, so now I have 2x plus 4, and over here, now if I add all this up, I have actually 2, 4, 6, 8, how many? 10, right? So we can see 2x plus 4 equals 10. Now, typically, when you're given a two-step equation, you're given something similar to this. 2x plus 4 equals 10, and they want to say, and they're asking you to find out what is x. And so in order to arrive at that equation, you'll have to work backwards. Instead of, you'll have to look at this and you'll say, okay, 2x is being added to 4. We have a 10 over here. Well, I can subtract 4 from both sides. If you subtract 4 from both sides, you'll be moving up to 2x equals 6. Now I can say, well, if 2x equals 6, then if I divide both sides by 2, then I should get what x is, and then you would arrive at x equals 3. And you can check. Well, if x equals 3, let's see. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 equals 10. This would be correct. So I wanted to go through that so you can see later when we talk about doing the inverse operation or the reverse steps, you'll see kind of how that worked. Maybe it will help you visualize that. Okay, so we don't just solve math for fun, and the goal is not just so that we can get a worksheet and do a great job on the test and all that stuff, but the question comes up, how are we going to use this in real life? Well, let's pretend I had $20 in my pocket. Okay, I know I started out with a $20 bill, and I went to Starbucks. Okay, and I bought 3 coffees from Starbucks. Okay, me and my 2 friends, right? And my change was, let's say my change was $3.50. That's what the person gave me back, $3.50. And let's say I had forgotten, later when I get home, my friends, they want to pay me back because I treated them, but they said, no, they borrowed the money from me, let's say. It wasn't a real treat, but they borrowed money, so they wanted to know, well, by the way, how much was the coffee? How much were each of the coffees? So I can very simply write an equation that will help us solve that. I know that I'm trying to find out how much 1 coffee costs. So I'm going to say that, or I could even, sometimes they do. Let's say C represents 1 coffee. So I know I bought 3 coffees. I'm going to write 3 times C, right? For 3 times whatever the cost of the coffee is. This is the cost of 1 coffee, right? 3 plus C. And then I know that I have $3.50 left over in my pocket. So whatever the cost of 3 coffees were, plus my change should equal my original $20 that I had. Okay, now there's another way to write this equation. I suppose you could write $20 minus 3C equals $3.50. That's another way we could solve this. But this is one way as well. So if I follow the inverse operations, I see that 3 is being multiplied by C, and then later it's being added to 350. So I'm going to subtract 350 first. I'm going to try to go in reverse order. So $20 minus 350 should give me $16.50, and that equals my 3C, keeping this balanced. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. C is being multiplied by 3, so the inverse operation of times 3 is divided by 3, so I will get C by itself. And then over here, I believe I will get $5.50 was the cost of each coffee. So C equals $5.50. So I know that was quick, and hopefully in part 2 we'll do a few more, and it will start to make sense. But this is just an introduction showing kind of how we start with one, and then we can make it more complex. Usually the goal is to make it more simple, or this is just one of many real-life examples where you might want to use this. All right, thank you for watching.